When her mother said it, she used the voice reserved for weather and bills, practical, already settled. "We're tight on money this month," she said. "We won't make it to your daughter's birthday." There was a pause afterward, the kind that waits for reassurance. She gave a nod even though her mother couldn't see it. Habit had trained her to keep things smooth. She said she understood. She said they'd celebrate another time. She did not say that the party was small on purpose, that no one was traveling, that there would be cake and paper hats, and a backyard with chalk drawings that washed away with the hose. After the call, she stood at the kitchen counter and finished slicing strawberries. Her daughter watched from the table, swinging her legs, asking whether Grandma would still call. She said yes. She said of course, she believed it too, or wanted to. The week moved forward without drama. Invitations stayed the same. She wrapped a few gifts she'd bought early, because early had always been safer. She baked cupcakes on Thursday night and froze them, labeled with careful handwriting. The day itself would be modest and clean. There would be music. There would be photos taken with a phone that was almost full. Late one night, she opened Facebook without thinking. The app did what it always did, offered other people's happiness like a catalog. There were the pictures. Bright paper, bows too big for small hands, a caption about being so blessed. Her mother was tagged. Her father was smiling in the background, holding a bag from a toy store that had closed in their town years ago. The date stamp was recent. The gifts were not small. She scrolled once, twice, to be certain she wasn't misreading it. She wasn't. The posts stacked up, cousins commenting, heart emojis, gratitude. The words tight on money hovered like a clerical error. She didn't cry. The moment for that had passed years ago, worn smooth by repetition. What she felt instead was a narrowing, a tension pulling inward, lining things up. Favoritism had always existed as a foggy explanation for why some efforts were noticed and others weren't. Tonight it condensed into something measurable, not a feeling. Evidence. She closed the app and opened her email. There was a folder she rarely visited anymore, labeled with the kind of responsibility that accrues quietly. Years ago, after a health scare, her parents had asked her to help with paperwork. She was organized. She followed up. She didn't mind being the one who read the fine print. Over time, that help became routine, renewals handled, confirmations forwarded, automatic permissions left in place because it was easier that way. She reviewed the documents without hurry. Nothing emotional there, just terms and conditions, dates, authorizations that depended on continued eligibility and timely reporting. There was a clause she had flagged once and then forgotten, because nothing had ever gone wrong. She didn't call anyone. She didn't draft a message. She completed a form online, attached the required verification, and submitted it. The confirmation page loaded with a neutral green checkmark. She went to bed. In the morning, her phone buzzed while she was pouring cereal. Missed calls, then a knock, hard, unambiguous. The kind of knock that expects an answer. Her father stood on the porch, coat half zipped, face flushed. He did not wait for an invitation. "What did you do?" he said, loud enough that her daughter looked up from the table. She asked him to lower his voice. She asked him to step inside or leave. He stepped inside. He paced the living room like the floor had changed overnight. He said words like sudden and unnecessary. He said, "Your mother is beside herself." He said, "We were counting on that." He did not ask why. She listened. That had always been her role, listener, translator, smoother of edges. When he paused, she spoke carefully, as if reading from a list. "I updated a record," she said. "I reported a change. The rest followed automatically." He stopped pacing. "You didn't have to do it like that." She looked at him, then really looked. "Like what?" He gestured vaguely, meaning without warning, meaning without permission, meaning without the usual cushioning. He said it wasn't fair. He said family doesn't keep score. She nodded once. "I'm not keeping score," she said. "I'm keeping boundaries." He argued that it was a misunderstanding, that the money comment had been exaggerated, that gifts didn't mean what she thought they meant. She did not contradict him. She did not bring up the photos. She did not say her daughter's name. She stated facts instead. The report was accurate. The process was standard. If circumstances changed, there was a clear path to review. She would help with the steps if asked. Her tone did not rise. "What do you want from us?" he asked finally. The question surprised her with its simplicity. She hadn't framed it that way. "I want honesty," she said after a moment. "And I want my child treated the same as the others. If that's not possible, then I want expectations adjusted accordingly." He left without agreeing, without apologizing. The door closed harder than necessary. The birthday happened anyway. Cupcakes thawed just right. Chalk dusted the patio. Her daughter wore the paper crown and blew out the candles with a confidence that came from being surrounded by people who stayed. A call came that evening. Her mother's voice was tight, careful. There was talk of stress, of things being taken the wrong way. No apology. No explanation that held. She did not argue. She did not reconcile. She said what she had already said to her father again, without emphasis. Silence did some of the work for her. In the weeks that followed, the family adjusted. Fewer spontaneous visits. Messages that asked before assuming. A new awareness that systems remember what people dismiss. Nothing felt victorious. There were losses she could name, ease, familiarity, the comfort of pretending patterns didn't exist. But there was also a steadier footing. Her daughter asked fewer questions. She slept better. Favoritism did not disappear. It rarely does. But it met a limit. And for the first time, that limit held.